Be careful. He's
and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end.
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care, as long as it's good stories.
Welcome to the Acement, everybody. It's time to go behind the funny. This is Scott Higgins.
And this is Ace Aceto.
And welcome once again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for the 5-star written reviews, which is a great way to help out the podcast. You know what another great way is, Ace?
Our Patreon page. If you go to patreon.com/behind the funny, you will get extra content. You will also get some merch. And we're working on some other stuff too. So
yes,
go to that.
Definitely.
Patreon.com/behind the funny.
Check that out. And another great way is to tell a friend.
Yeah, that's the best way.
Which that's a great way to grow. And you know, it was funny because I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week you mentioned Rhonda Shear from Up All Night.
Yeah.
Back in the day that you had worked with her. And another podcast that we're friendly with, that we've become friendly with recently, the Mixtape Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
They had her on their podcast last week.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, these guys, they do something a little different. They are a self-professed group of morons, as they call themselves. They get into a bunch of different
our concept.
Yeah, we're two morons. They're a bunch. Group of morons. So they've doubled the amount of morons.
They're self-professed. You're in denial.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we're not ready to admit it yet. At least they have grasped their moronness.
Can you tell that our guest can't wait to get on the radio because he's been on vacation? So we haven't even introduced him and he's already jumping in. But go ahead.
But anyway, these guys take stuff from the 80s and 90s, like music, movies, things like that, and they discuss them in today's times. And it's kind of like hanging out with your buddies and bullshitting about the good old days.
Yep.
Like they say, it's kind of a walk down memory lane, sometimes a twisted walk, but it's always funny. So you want to definitely check these guys out. It's called the Mixtape Podcast, which is kind of what they're doing, because you never know what you're going to get. It's kind of a retro version or a retro mixtape done in a modern version. So check them out wherever you download your podcasts.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So great stuff.
I'm going to check it out. And tonight's bourbon date.
Yes.
You know, it is someone that we haven't had a date with in a while, but it's really just pretty much the last time our guests were on, which was Comedy Gold.
Yes, they almost had their entire own episode for Best Of at the end of the year.
We were sitting there for the Best Of at the end of 2021. And I'm like, I can't stop pulling clips from that show because it was just so funny. I mean, first of all, it was like 2.5 hours long. And as it went on, it just got funnier and funnier as they got drunker.
It wasn't an episode.
And
it was a mini series.
It was a mini series, yes. Or what do they call it? A limited series on Netflix.
Now it's streaming. It's limited series.
Oh yeah,
not mini series anymore.
Yeah.
The director's cut. Yeah.
I'm dating myself by saying mini series.
Yeah. So we thought it was so much fun. When the last time we had them on, and so when one of them reached out and said, "Hey, Brian's on vacation. We got to get together. When are you and Scott available?" I said, "We're available the night you come back on the podcast. How's that?"
I thought she said, "Unfortunately, Brian's on vacation, so he has to come too."
Can you please take him off my hands?
And I said, "No."
That's more what it said.
But we will keep him occupied for a night.
But I do 4 ways.
But you have to sit through it. And this time, I didn't take her upstairs to show her the bedroom. How's that?
A much better start this time for her. She didn't have to go upstairs to your bedroom.
Yes.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's another rousing edition of Let's Get Hammered and See What Happens.
Why not? So
it's the return of the Mulherns.
Yes, Meet the Mulherns Part 2. Hold on, I got a little Meet the Mulherns Part 2, as Scott likes to call it. So welcome back, Brian Mulhern and his lovely wife, Carla Mulhern.
Ace Aceto, Scott Higgins. Great to see you guys, as always, whether there are microphones or not. It always ends up going
fun.
The same way.
Exactly.
The conversation's not that much
show.
There's two of us on the floor, and at least one of us pissed at the other three.
And we'll give you one guess who that is.
Yeah, exactly.
The one who's driving everybody home. Although one of us is already home.
I don't know. She wants to
She'll
drive
go back
me up to my
upstairs and
bedroom.
tuck you in. Yeah, there you go.
That's
By the
either
way-
a podcast episode or a Tuesday.
Right.
Apparently, I just want to say this right from the jump here. Carla and Ace did not get the memo about the merch.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, well-
You're behind the funny.
No, we got nothing.
Listen,
you.
I got a poster on my wall like it's 1985.
Does it glow in the dark?
And a
It
tattoo on his
does.
scrotum.
And yes.
As she told me from the trip upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Well, she caught me putting it on him.
And folks, now you can tell why Brian is on radio. Because he
With
has a
gems
face
like that.
He has a face for radio.
We already have 3 minutes for your best of. I can't fucking believe
I know, right?
How's this wine doing?
So we're gonna get to that later, but we are drinking the old smoky Tennessee peanut butter whiskey,
Good.
which we loved last
Hey, it
time,
worked
and
last
we
time.
killed that bottle.
That it
I
did,
think there was
so.
a little tiny sliver of
Cheers.
stuff.
Cheers.
So
our guests.
cheers to our
Cheers, guys.
guests.
God help
Cheers,
us
buddy.
all.
Cheers.
Yeah.
And then
help
one
you
person
all.
that just
God
got
help
help
us
us
all.
all. And when that's done, we have the chocolate shop fine Cabernet. Chocolate
approximately
infused.
15 to 20 minutes before this is
Yeah,
done.
well, that's all right. Or we could just
What?
mix them. I
Are
wonder,
we pacing ourselves? 15 to 20 minutes.
peanut butter cup wine.
Ooh.
How's that?
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a
hey.
win-win. People,
Sounds like Brian's driving home.
yeah. About time.
Yeah.
Should be driving us. I always have to drive home.
Okay.
Well, my last
Always.
name is Mulhern, so just trying to play up to the
Sweet.
stereotype.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, true.
Nice.
And the hat,
And the
too.
hat, yeah, it's got the scally cap on too. Just trying to help out the.
Can you talk about stereotypes nowadays? Is that
Can you?
acceptable anymore?
On this show, you can, not so much on yours. Right?
No,
Yeah.
not so much.
You know,
it's good
being
to be here as
being-
opposed to there.
Yes. Being Irish, you could talk about yourself,
Right.
but
You can't talk about anyone else.
you can't make fun of other people's, stereotypes or ethnicities or anything anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Not even the friggin' Italians.
Well,
Well, I
yeah.
thought they were always cannon
That's
fodder.
because we can handle it.
Yeah.
But
Well, and
for the most part,
you have people to take care of us by the time we're done.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what I just
Hey,
realized?
freaking guy over here.
You know what I just realized? This poor bastard's on vacation from doing a radio show, and
have
we
him
ask him
doing
to come
radio.
and do a fucking podcast.
This is
Just
freeing.
what you want to do on your week
There's
off.
But
there's,
this is freeing for him.
Yeah.
No
there's,
FCC.
there's no peanut
Yeah.
butter whiskey at Cat Country 98.1. Trust me.
That's
Some
true.
days I could use it, but
I think that'll be in his next contract negotiation.
Yeah, a bottle of peanut butter
I need-
whiskey for each show.
I need a multi-year extension and a bottle of
yeah.
peanut
And
butter.
at that
whiskey.
time, Steve Donovan will be making his return to radio once I start making demands.
Yeah.
I love Steve, by the
Yeah,
way.
we love Steve too. That's funny. So, what have you guys been up to since the last time we talked to you?
Well, we tried to work through what I thought was going to be a divorce after the last episode. We've had a lot of couples therapy. The amazing
Carla's already rolling her eyes.
And when Brian saw how much would have costed him, he said, "Honey,
Here
I
we
love
are
you."
again.
I love you.
This is
Let's work on this.
this is my community service when it comes to marriage court.
The funniest is last time we didn't have the camera, so
No.
now
You see
People-
the reactions, yeah.
people just had to hear about how much Carla snorted and rolled her eyes.
I
Now they
literally-
can actually see it.
I literally had a headache from rolling my eyes up into my head. It was
But
just-
the weird thing is, I think you could hear the disgust.
yes.
Oh, you
Yeah.
could.
really
How many
have to
times
see
did she say, "Yeah"?
Well,
Why did I marry you?
Seriously, there were some moments I relived, like, what the hell is wrong with me?
well, for those of you who didn't listen to the last one, the whole point of it, at least going into it, was that I was going to get my balls broken
Yes,
Right,
it's
for
not
90
that.
minutes, and it was just going to turn into salvation for her,
For her.
and revenge. By the end of it, she was in tears. I
She's
was
too-
fucking loving life.
It's like, I am an idiot. People are like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, Carla. You're an idiot.
No.
When your husband turns to you about 3/4 of the way through a podcast and says, why did you marry me?
And you
can't come up with an answer.
No, she responded with, yeah. Why did I?
That's what I mean. She didn't have an answer.
Cheers to that, everybody.
Cheers. Carla's getting ready.
I got to.
No. So since then, Carla's had a job change, right?
Yes, I have.
You've been to a
Well,
couple
you've
of
had
places
a couple of job
since
changes
then.
Yeah.
Wow, you're making yourself
No.
really good.
Actually, it was only
Can't hang on to a job.
It was only one
I was
because
just
if you
about-
remember, I
I'm
was
just about to start,
I was shitting on the previous organization.
Yeah,
I didn't
that tries to
mention
cure
names.
cancer. Well done, sir. Well played.
She works for
He's worried about-
charities.
He's worried about Irish stereotypes.
Yes,
He's taking a dump all
she
over.
works for charities and he's shitting on them.
Well, I don't like the way they treated my friend.
Is the first snort.
Thank you.
No.
I was
We
just
never
about-
did that. We never got your snort
you just-
for my ringtone. I need that for my ringtone.
I'll get right. We'll do it. Right
I
now.
want it. So when you call me, I get
It's better than when you call me. I get Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, I
May
know.
he rest in peace.
Still, even may he rest in peace. I still do it. She answers. She's like, "Hi, this is Carla Mulhern. What is going on in this world?"
And anytime
Yeah.
he calls, I'm sitting there hysterical laughing. Everyone's like,
And
Ace-
everyone's
Ace is
looking at
calling.
you.
Yeah, they all know. Ace is gonna be Ace on
Exactly.
the phone. Yeah. No,
Well-
before I came, then I think I was just about to start.
At
My
the
new job.
second place,
Yes,
not the current place.
not the current place.
right.
But I just started.
Folks, she can't hold a job, is what we're saying. Please consider Carla.
I feel bad
If
for me.
yeah, please feel
This
bad.
is why I can't get out of radio.
This is why
Brian's
Brian
on my-
is stuck. Brian has been trying to retire for years.
Most
and
radio
it's not
careers last
happening.
like 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm going on 30 here, people. Send help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what have you guys? Well, so you're starting a new job. You're still in the same job.
Yeah, that's a different dynamic for sure.
It's all
Yeah.
So since I'll catch you up as to where things have
Yeah.
been since then, I really do feel like over the course of the last several years, and as we were pre-gaming, people have just become angrier,
Yeah.
more intolerant, and I never thought I could see that from this one. I mean, this one just peas, rainbows, and shits sunshine, essentially. But I do have to tell you, there was a couple of times there, and especially through the pandemic, and we've been through a lot. You know, I
Yeah.
lost my mom to COVID, and
Right.
she unfortunately had a job get eliminated because of it.
Right.
I said, you're kind of starting to lose your spark a little bit. And that was before we did the last podcast. So,
but blame the podcast on your marriage counseling.
So-
Okay.
I was wet mopping all of this bullshit for like 6 months, trying to put Humpty
And
Dumpty
what-
back together again.
That didn't bring it back. The podcast and bring that
Well,
spark back.
I guess we're about to find
It's
out. aren't we?
amazing.
Yeah.
We are.
Well, no,
In the
so
bottle.
she goes to a job in a fine organization, incidentally, the American Heart Association.
Right.
But at a very challenging time because she was the executive director, and here you are overseeing people that you've never met.
Right.
You're trying to learn a job in a room by yourself at home, trying to conduct everything off
Yeah.
of Zoom, and that really
Yeah.
complicated
Well,
matters. for
and
you.
you're trying to raise money at probably the
The
worst
right
possible time to raise money. Like
Exactly.
a lot of
Yeah.
nonprofits
Exactly.
have had issues. For-profits have gone out of business
Yeah.
because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
it was definitely
it was challenging,
very
right?
challenging. And I'm more of a you get to know someone in person. I'm not
Right.
the Zoom, and we live in East Butchuck, so half
Well,
the
we
time
know.
we're like freezing, and people are like, "Carla, I can't hear you," and I'm fading in and out. It was very frustrating.
I'm
you
like,
know?
I'm sorry for the noise. That was the frost heaves
The
falling off the roof.
Hold on, horses and buggies delivering my mail. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
that was my husband jumping off the roof. He just listened to the podcast again.
Oh my God.
But so I think that job really stressed her out, and a great organization. They do phenomenal work.
Absolutely.
Great people.
Yeah.
and all that
I
other stuff.
wasn't shitting on them for the
No.
record.
No,
I
no,
wasn't
no.
shitting on them.
No,
But
not
there
at
there
all.
was a component to that job too, and unlike her husband over here, self-professed, you guys are self-professed morons. I'm a self-professed introvert.
Yeah.
She's very much
Mhm.
a people person, and she's very much about seeing the results of what she does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of that, due to the circumstances of the pandemic and for other
Right.
reasons, she didn't have that as much. And I
Yeah.
think for the first time, sometimes it felt more like a job to you than other jobs had because
you didn't have that build up to a finale of a fundraising campaign, right?
Yeah,
you didn't get to celebrate with everyone and be with everyone at the end of it, right?
I think that's part of it, and I think it, like I said, it was just I think the next job that came around was something that actually fit for me on all angles.
It brought you back.
Yeah, and I wasn't, the great part of it is I wasn't looking for it. It was like this perfect job that fell in my lap, and literally I think it's probably, knock on wood, the best job I've ever had. So
tell people a little bit about it.
So I am the executive director for the Izzy Foundation.
And what is the story, the backstory of the Izzy Foundation?
So the Izzy Foundation,
without crying.
I know.
Okay.
Good luck.
So the Izzy Foundation is,
I wish I had violin music. I start playing sad piano music. Violin. Now you sound the good, bad, and the ugly. What the hell was that? Oh, she's
so the Izzy Foundation was started. So it's in honor of Isabella Walrab, who was this beautiful little girl who was diagnosed with cancer when she was just over a year old, and she had this spirit and smile and just, you know, how we should all be. Like it didn't define her at that age.
How old was she?
She was a little over 1 when she was diagnosed, and then she lost her battle when she was about a little over 3.
Oh, okay.
And her parents, you know, you go in. I think the thing is when you go to something like that, or you go in, you know, you go to hospital rooms, or you go to, you know, hospitals can be very cold and very sad, and I think the family really wanted to find a place to be a safe haven or a hug.
He's not laughing at you. He's laughing at Scott struggling with his microphone.
I think maybe we have a new sponsor for the podcast, Green Valley Medical Clinic.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
So they ended up putting together this beautiful purple room on the second floor on the fifth floor of Hasbro Children's Hospital. Izzy's favorite color was purple.
Yep.
So what we do is when families are staying there, they get lunch every day. There's coffee all the time for families. There's snacks. There's, you know, crafts. Even during COVID, the executive director before me, Erin Scott, who's just amazing, they created a cart that would go from room to room and give kids the meals, give them snacks, give them crafts, things that they couldn't, you know, come down and do, and you're stuck in your room. I mean, so basically I just call it the hug room. You're coming in and you're feeling Izzy's presence, you know, and you've seen The Office, you know.
I was at The Office last week, and everything is purple and bright colors, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And seeing the family, I think that's the thing too. I lost my best friend to leukemia when I was little, and seeing you help other people, especially at times like this, it's just very rewarding.
That was the connection I think that was missing in terms of what the other job was versus what this job is.
And making really those connections.
It's
human connection.
You see the difference that you're making.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Izzy Foundation isn't like a national organization. It's very specific to Rhode Island. So it's helping Rhode Island families. It's helping people. Yes. You're always going to see these families around, you know, and it's a tight-knit community. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
And there are hopes too that you're going to grow it and maybe
we're going to call it Izzy's Places, Izzy's Spaces in different places. Yeah. So I think we should have every hospital should have something like that for families. Yeah. You know?
And Izzy, any photo that you see of this girl,
she had a big smile on her face,
smiling constantly.
Yeah. When I went to the office and I saw her, it immediately brought me back to Dorian Murray, because Dorian was like that too. That kid was just such a little spitfire. And, you know, when we did the D Strong show for him, you know, I never got to meet him because he wasn't feeling well that night. They wanted to get him out there, but very similar. Always smile on his face. Always had a great little personality. Like, I love when his mom, Melissa, actually posts old videos of him and stuff. And I, you know, of course I cry. And then I'm just filled with this feeling of love, because that kid pulled a lot of people together in the world. And so Izzy sounds like she was very similar.
Yeah. I was saying to Izzy's mom when they chose me, which I was completely honored. I said, I have a feeling that my Michelle and your Izzy are up there pulling some strings to make these things happen. So I don't take it lightly, and I'm very blessed and honored. And every job has helped me get to where I need to be, and lessons, very important lessons that I've need to learn, you know?
Right.
So.
Plus, she's back in an office and away from me. So,
Yeah, so win-win.
so now when I
loving
jump
that.
off the roof, it's like when a tree falls in the forest and no one's there.
I'm not there.
Is he really trying to kill himself? It's a philosophical question for another time.
Oh, here we go. Brian's talking about depression and
Yeah.
suicide again.
I gotta go.
It's full circle. Every time he comes on, he's got to get it in. No,
It's been
It's
fun,
like
guys.
that comfy pair of jeans
Yes.
for yours truly. Yeah.
no. So how have you been with radio?
Well,
so
you've had
got
some posts this past year, some success with ratings and stuff like that. You've
Yeah,
done
well,
pretty
some really good stuff. I mean, who would have thought that top-rated country station
would come out of Rhode
come out
Island.
of Rhode Island, not Texas, not Alabama,
Nashville.
not Nashville, fucking Rhode Island.
Well, boys, truth be told, I'm just that good.
Yes, we know.
No, but seriously,
You need
Here
syndication.
we go.
No, he needs syndication.
I
That's what
think I
that
need
says.
more peanut butter whiskey on that one.
you might want to top yourself off before you pass it down to Higgins. No, the good news compared to the
He
two,
knows you.
to the two of us here, basically, I've never had a spark to lose. That's the good news.
Yeah.
It's just been a dull flame
Yeah,
for a long
exactly.
time.
It's just
It's like a pilot
Flatline.
light.
it's like Tom Hanks when he's first discovering how to start a fire on that island on Castaway. And
Look what I have created.
we're not there yet.
No.
We're at the it's getting blisters on our hands and whatnot. No, I mean I can't complain.
Yeah.
I suppose
You do, but you can't.
and I will.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me. But the thing that
Eye
I
rolls.
will say about this is, for as much as I love the gig and I'm thankful
Yeah.
that I have it, I
Listen,
feel
there's
like
bullshit at every office. There's bullshit at every job.
well,
you know?
and two, this is the first job in all seriousness, and this is going to surprise nobody who works in show business on any level. It's the first time I've been somewhere for more than 5 years.
Right.
So there's this
You're not used to it.
small piece of me, which is kind of like,
Bored.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of on autopilot a little bit sometimes.
right.
And
Yeah, you don't want to feel like you're mailing it in, but you kind of feel that way sometimes.
sometimes,
Sometimes.
the thing is, and she'll go on and on about this. I work,
Nope, I roll.
will.
I care too much. I work way too
You
hard
do.
on it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes
Sorry.
she wants it back already.
No. Can you tell? I'm like, oh, he's going into a story. I need the fucking whiskey back.
I didn't even have to look at Chase.
Nope.
I just said,
It was
here
this
you go. Hey,
unspoken.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
of
Yeah.
bourbon.
Shape of chocolate wine.
So you're good. So don't get me wrong.
No, I know.
I love the gig, but
Yeah.
sometimes it just because you're married, it's not that you never look at other women. Am I right? Am I right, people?
Yeah,
Am I
right,
sweetheart?
right.
I tell ya.
Hey.
I might look at the menu.
Hey.
And the reality is too, I think it's just a part of getting older because
Yeah.
this does require so much of my attention. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize this. For as much success as Cat Country has had,
Mhm.
we work for a small family owned.
Right.
And whereas my competitors have maybe a producer or two and
Right.
interns, and they have somebody else doing the traffic and someone else
They have a
doing the
lot
weather,
more resources.
and somebody else screening the calls. Oh, and hey,
You're-
we have this prep service for you that does all the,
Right.
like we.
You're
Courtney
still
and
old
myself,
school, doing your own stuff on everything.
on
right?
everything. I mean,
Yeah.
Courtney and myself, like I'm doing
Yeah.
the traffic, she's doing the weather. We're answering the phones. We're
Right.
editing the
Yeah.
stuff. We're providing all of the content that you hear is coming and generated from us.
you guys.
And Stern is at a point, and believe me, I'm not comparing myself to him, nor would I ever.
Yeah.
But he's at this point now too, where he's just like, I'm burnt out, and his audience gets pissed and says, "You're only on Monday through Wednesday. I'm paying for this subscription. You're starting at 7:00. You're taking all these weeks off."
right.
And he starts to say, "Well, would you rather have that or nothing?"
Or nothing. Right.
But it's a grind,
Yeah.
and he has 1,000 people
Right.
helping
Right.
him with what he
Right.
does. But I definitely understand that end of it, and that does at times feed into my mania and my depression
Right.
and everything else.
Because his work ethic is very much like yours.
Mhm.
Even though it seems like he's just, having a good time, if you listen to him, he takes his show so seriously. And yes, he does have a lot of help, but he still has to approve everything. He
Mhm.
still has to see everything. And he's got a right-hand man in Baba Booey who has been with him for years.
Right.
you don't have that.
No, I
You
never
know?
have anybody stay with me for years.
Yeah.
What am I? Am I like my fifth co-host?
Yeah,
now?
right, exactly.
I'm on my second wife.
There's a pattern, folks.
This is my 9th podcast this week. For the love of Christ, I don't even want to tell you how many bottles of this I've had.
Papa Booey, Papa Booey, Papa Booey.
So, and it's a weird thing too, because I think because it's just becoming such an autopilot thing, but still with all of the angst and hard work
And hard work, though.
There's a part of me too that I've always said I'm a writer first and a radio guy second.
Right.
And I find myself kind of gravitating back towards the writing, at least up here and in here. And Hollywood is no, we're all set. And that's becoming a little bit frustrating too.
And you know what? We've had some people on the podcast who have like talked about writing scripts and stuff like that. And I can't understand how more stories aren't getting, like more new scripts aren't getting out there, but everyone wants to remake every other fucking movie that worked. Like, take a fucking chance, grow some balls and take a chance. And maybe the waiter at your restaurant has a good script that's very different.
But you know why? You know the answer to this. It's all about the money.
Oh, because
and the love of nostalgia. And I mean, like, how many different versions of Spider-Man can we possibly have?
Right.
They know that's
Going to sell tickets.
It's
going to sell tickets.
It's all a bottom line thing.
And you're right. And it's funny because right before we went live, we were talking about The Offer. I started watching the limited series, The Offer, all about the making of The Godfather. And man, I never realized just how much it is about the money. Well, they were like, you have a $4 million budget. That's it.
Did you ever see the documentary, The Making of The Godfather, A Look Inside? No. They showed the screen test that they did back when they were first casting the movie. Mm-hmm. And that was amazing just to watch that.
Just to watch them.
The guys at, it was Paramount that did that picture. They kept telling Francis Ford Coppola that Al Pacino will never be in this movie. They said, we get like a Robert Redford, a Paul Newman. And he's like, they're not Italian. They could be from like Northern Italy. They kept saying, we need a movie star, someone that's going to sell tickets.
You don't very hard.
Kept fighting. And he said, I kept slipping Al Pacino in all of his screen tests and doing more screen tests and slipping him in. And Pacino even said, he goes, after a while, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He goes, because I knew they did not want
me.
It
was actually,
and he kept forcing me on them, and I was uncomfortable.
If you watch the Offer, it was actually Robert Evans who didn't want it. He was the
right.
I don't know if he was the producer or the
he was high ranking.
They went around, but they went around him. The guy, Al Rudder. Whoever the guy, he's the main character in the Offer. He's the actual guy that was like a brand new producer. He was the producer of Hogan's Heroes. This was the first movie he was going to make.
He was originally cast as the Godfather. Some people don't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
The guy that used to yell Hogan. No.
No, he wasn't.
Newsflash.
But anyway,
I used to have to go to bed after Hogan's Heroes was over.
Me too.
It was at 6:30 and 7:30. And then my father was like, "You hear the
you gotta go
All
to
right,
bed.
Enough of the Nazis for one night, sweetie. Good night.
Right.
I was like, "Oh crap, I gotta go to bed."
Let me tuck you in, my little Lederhosen.
But it's not even the financial component. And
no,
she's been kind of learning through osmosis with me. I tell her it's a miracle that anything ever gets made, because there are just so
much bullshit red tape.
For example, we talked about, I had worked on the
Phil Hartman
movie.
The movie,
adapted the screenplay from the book, the biography, and it was getting all kinds of forward motion and momentum. And then at the end of the day, the two sticking points were the kids just didn't even want to talk to me about it. Phil's kids, and I tried really hard to contact at least the sister Bergen, and I liked her Instagram page and immediately got blocked. Then Dana Carvey read it, loved it.
Yeah.
I won't do it without the kids and their blessing, because my kids are still friends with their kids. So then we tried to go through Love It, and then Love It. Carla actually had to send Bergen, the daughter, a message that I'd written her. And it was just like one stumbling block after another after another. And it's just been that way the entire time. Plus, I'm older than I was. Plus, I was out there a couple times and came home for radio opportunities.
Yeah.
So in some ways, like, I'm banging my head against the wall, because I feel like a lot of what I'm writing is better than it's ever been.
Right.
So there's been that frustration too. And I always use the example for her about a miracle that anything gets made. We started watching Cobra Kai when it first came out.
Yep.
Great
and I
show.
said, Do you realize
She just did the crane. She just went right into the crane.
How can you
Love
not?
that movie.
Yes.
she's pulled that move on me? A
Oh,
couple
yeah.
times
Yeah,
when
you
we've
met
been-
Giraffe,
She
I
might
know.
be at the end of this. Better watch out.
Focus, Brian, son. Focus.
Yeah.
Right
But I said to her, I said, so let's break this down right now. First of all, at the time it was on YouTube Red.
Yeah,
I said,
right.
do you know how many networks and streaming services had to say no to them before they
Yeah.
finally ended
Right.
up on
Exactly.
YouTube Red?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, now think of this. These
And
guys,
that's Ralph Macchio and
Wow.
what's
Let's-
his name that
let's-
was behind it?
Let's be honest.
Johnny.
Those two guys weren't making blockbuster
No,
movies and TV
but they were
shows.
still named.
Well,
They
but-
were still people that
there was
everyone
a
knew,
creative
but-
team that
Yeah.
approached. What's Johnny's real name? I can't
William
remember.
Zappa.
William Sappo.
Yeah.
Zapka.
Zapka.
Okay.
Come on, you have a picture with them.
Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was-
Carla still has his poster on the wall.
Know it.
so this creative team approached Zabka about it first.
Right.
And they said, do you think you can get us Macchio? And I said, and that's step one, Carla.
Right.
First of all, William Zabka, are you willing to do this? Or are you going to be one of these people that we were discussing earlier? I was typecast of
Right.
that role my whole life. I don't want to go down
I
that
lost
road
out
again.
on a ton of roles
It-
because everyone thought of me as Johnny. I don't want to
could have
talk about
stopped
it.
right there.
Right.
But instead, he's like, no, that sounds interesting. They're like, we're going to make you more of the protagonist. Spoiler alert.
Right.
And
right.
at times, Daniel's going to be more of the antagonist.
yeah.
But can you get us Macchio? Now, here's step two. He goes to Macchio. Now,
Mhm.
Macchio could have said no, and it would have been a stop right there.
Right.
Layer upon layer upon
So
layer.
many things
Approval
had
of
to
the
fall
scripts.
into place.
And then I said to her, okay, you know how they just played Back in Black? They had to approach ACDC
Yeah,
and say,
right.
can we get the licensing for
Yeah.
that? And how much are you going to charge it? Like, it's just
Right.
step after step
Yeah.
after step. And again, it just shows you what a miracle it is that anything gets made and how
Right.
much shit gets made.
Yep.
And you're just like, how did that happen? But every once in a while, you'll find something like a Cobra Kai we all love. And again, it's playing to what we're talking about. The
Nostalgia.
nostalgia.
Right.
Hollywood knows that people
Listen,
eat that stuff right out.
Look at I just watched the this season of Stranger Things. Kate Bush's song was
Right.
shit back in 1985,
And now
I
it's a
hated
huge
that
hit.
fucking
Yep.
song. Meanwhile, I'm watching the girl Max put the thing on. I go,
Mhm.
oh my god, I remember this song.
I still hate that song.
All of a sudden, yeah, but all of a sudden, it's all over TikTok.
It's exploding.
That she has made more on
Oh, yeah.
royalties now than
Easily.
she ever did in her career. Now, I mean, listen, Metallica didn't really need the help, but now in the final episode, the guy, I don't know if you watched it.
Spoiler alert.
That's all right.
Spoiler
Fine.
alert, but Eddie, one of the guys in it, plays Metallica Master of Puppets
Oh, nice.
on the guitar. And they the whole song goes through, and they have, the Metallica actually singing. Metallica's fucking loving it because they're up the charts
course.
now with that. That's a 36-year-old song. and it's just as big, you know? So you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, no. you never
And
know.
what is Stranger Things? Stranger Things,
Total nostalgia.
it's kids now because they like it. Hey, it's kind of horror, but it's like kids, so it's not that bad. So they're all into it. But every old fuck like me who graduated high school in 1986
Mhm.
is sitting there going, this is my time.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is like E.T. on steroids, E.T. horror version.
Can I profess something?
Yeah.
I hate that show.
I was going to ask you, are you scared of it?
No,
'Cause you
I'm
don't like-
actually not. I watched season 1 and tapped out, and I. never
It's funny.
watched
So you don't like
anymore.
I
horror, right? You're not a
loved it.
horror
We talk
person.
about
He's
how
not a
how-
horror
Me
person
either.
anyway.
No, but
Well,
I
there's
don't even
that.
find it a
It
horror
was
show.
great.
I just didn't.
It was
care for
great.
it.
But
You had
that
to
show, much like the rest of society, can be so polarizing among my friends. I haven't seen it, but I have some people who say, "Oh my God, season 1 was amazing. The rest of it sucks."
Yeah,
Scott says season
right.
1's terrible. I couldn't.
It's
even
not that it was
I
terrible.
loved
It
it.
just wasn't my thing. I was,
Right,
I
right.
was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
could
see,
care
I
less.
loved it. I loved it. I thought
My
all
wife
of the
binge
seasons-
watched the whole thing just recently.
Yep.
Oh, so
Just the
I haven't seen
whole thing. Loved it.
So is it more that you hate spending time with your wife,
That's what it is.
and that's why you
We-
stopped watching?
we have very different tastes in television. She the whole. I can't watch Cobra Kai with her because she's like, oh, this.
Oh God.
Oh,
it. Did
this
she
is.
watch Karate Kid?
She's like, this is so campy. This is stupid.
Well,
I'm
that's
like,
the whole
that's the
point of
point.
it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Did she like Karate Kid?
Look
Well,
at
yeah, in '84
so
she
concerned.
did.
Has she
But
watched
did she
Cobra
like
Kai?
Karate
I'm
Kid?
going to turn her. We're going to turn her.
She has watched the whole thing with me. She
Well,
watched every
that's
episode.
another amazing thing too.
But she loves Only Murders in the Building.
Oh,
I love that show.
Love that
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you got it.
you don't know.
Listen, I just got done with Peaky Blinders, so I was on that.
You have to
And
see
you know
it.
what? I have to watch it with closed
I
captions
haven't
because I
watched
can't
the new
understand half of
season.
it.
I haven't watched the new season, but the first season of Only Murders in the Building, I laughed as
so good.
hard as I have ever laughed at so many
good.
parts of that.
Well, you know what I'm having problems with because I'm old is everything now is anytime we watch something, they're texting. I'm like, what the hell are they saying?
Yeah.
Oh, and they're putting the text on the screen,
Right.
and my vision ain't what it used to be. She's like, "Can you pause it?" Then I have to get up
Yeah.
and go up and put my readers on and
The
see
text
these
helps.
fucking
The
ridiculous.
text helps with Peaky Blinders because it's tough to understand them sometimes.
It's bad.
I just like it because I want to walk into a building, go just to walk in and go, because we're the Peaky fucking Blinders.
Well, here's the funny thing.
Let me
too.
know how that works out for you.
It's great.
Speaking of perspective on nostalgia, she
Yes.
was always this huge Top Gun person,
Oh yeah,
and I had never seen it.
Yep.
And
The original?
I had
the original?
never seen the
it
original.
was good.
And so people,
I thought that was required.
Well,
Yeah, well, if I had known, things would be different. We
And-
would maybe not be together. Had I known, that would.
The
that's a
whiskey's kicking in,
prerequisite.
folks. The whiskey is kicking in.
God forbid she can get a flux capacitor and go back in time and take care of this shit.
Yes.
But it's funny because then it went to the air that I'd never seen it. People were like, you got to see it. And I said, look,
Yeah.
all of you need to understand something. You're remembering the 16-year-old version of you watching
right.
this unbelievably cheesy 80s movie. I guarantee you,
Right.
if I sit down and watch this now, that's not to say I would have hated it then.
Right.
I'm going to hate it now.
Right.
So just
'Cause
as
when-
part of the experiment, I went and I watched it. I said, this is a steaming pile of shit.
That's your opinion. Shut
But hang
it.
on a second. But I'm going to
We
take
don't
this to
hold
the next.
nothing.
This you know how this ends.
She's getting going.
No,
Here we
you're
go.
still
She's
insulting
getting going.
that. It was a good movie.
Listen, it was stupid. I feel the need for speed.
Exactly. I'm 52 years
Come
old.
on.
Okay.
I'll
that
come
was
over there and
stupid.
clock you
You
I
too.
feel
try
the
it.
need for a
Let's go.
Cialis.
Yeah.
Not after you watch that beach volleyball.
Yeah,
scene in the
that's
first
right.
movie.
Yes,
right.
thank you.
The
Stop.
shirtless
As soon as that guy
guys.
takes his shirt off.
But then fast forward, and this is where the campiness thing can disappear and something can still work.
right.
Top Gun Maverick comes out. We have a
Yep.
long weekend. I said, look, I know you want to see this.
Let's go see it.
It looks like
Right.
it's getting good reviews.
Yeah.
I'll take the bullet and I'll go, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved Top
Well, because
Gun
they
Maverick.
took out the campiness.
They did,
And it was
and-
just good and nostalgic
and
back
even
to.
just and see it on the big screen. Just
Yeah,
the
I
flying
heard
machine.
that.
Oh my god, it is unbelievable.
I haven't seen it, but people have told me
Yeah.
like you watch the first one and you're like, oh my god, the flying scenes are so cheesy looking, and now they're just amazing. I love the fact that and I don't think this is a spoiler because I haven't even seen it, but the fact that Val Kilmer plays a role in it.
Yep.
As as sick as he is right now, because I watched the documentary on him.
Maverick?
The amazing thing
Too
is,
soon?
I can't fucking believe you went there. Oh my god!
for as advanced as special effects are,
I've seen the documentary on him.
It was good.
I know you did.
It was actually a good
obviously.
documentary.
It was.
for as
actually,
advanced
it's
as
very good.
special effects are, they couldn't make Kelly McGillis look like she did
No.
back in 1986.
I've seen that meme.
They don't make enough CGI for that.
Poor
I've
Kelly.
seen that meme. Why Tom Cruise is in Top Gun Maverick.
By the way,
Tom Cruise.
I've
Kelly
been
McGinnis.
I've been in the same room when she was naked. Kelly
Really?
McGillis, yeah. Back in I think it was 2003. She was in a stage production of The Graduate, and she came to PPAC, and she had a new
Really?
yeah. She was still
Wow.
looking really.
I love how he makes it sound like I was in the same
Yeah,
room when she was
yeah.
naked.
Well-
Yeah, with 3,000 other fucking people at PPAC.
I was in the same room till I tried to rush the stage.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
Not welcome
He's
back.
still not welcome back.
They're taking me out, and I'm saying, I have a need.
I have a need.
You go to PPAC now, is a picture of his face with an X through it.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
entrance.
Have you
Now-
seen this guy?
Yeah.
Are there any movies that you loved when you were younger? Like
Oh yeah.
these are my favorite movies that you watch now, and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, really?
I'm trying to think of a recent one. I remember loving The Lost Boys. Do you remember that movie? The
I love
vampire.
that
thing?
Okay, hold
Yeah.
on, hold
That was
on.
a great movie.
Don't even start dissing on the Lost Boys because podcast's over. I'm just telling you right now.
He's a
it.
big Kiefer Sutherland fan.
I would think, given the horror component,
Yeah, it was kind of
that
scary.
you would. Not
I
be someone-
have the original movie poster of the Lost Boys, like when it was actually in theaters back in the 80s.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine worked at the theaters and he gave me the poster of that
Wow.
movie framed in my garage.
I didn't see that.
in your garage. You got to move it out of your garage.
No, I have a nice garage.
Okay.
And you speak
Nice
to Kiefer
garage.
Sutherland prick.
His wife
I
won't
also
let him
have
bring it in the house.
I also have a Flatliners poster on the
Oh.
side of it.
Oh, I love Flatliners. yes. Oh, that freaked me out a little bit, but I did like it.
Yeah, that was
Now, I'm not saying that it was terrible, but it just wasn't quite on the level.
Oh no,
The reverence that I had for it at the time when I saw it multiple times in the theater.
Right.
it's complete. No, I did
Yeah,
too.
special effects
Back
aren't
then,
as
I
good as what you
probably saw it
remembered.
5 or 6 times in the theater.
Right.
And I watched it not too long ago with one of my daughters who said, "Oh, this is that movie that you have the poster of." We watched it, and they're like, "You love this movie?" not as much now,
right.
but it's it's
good.
fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. I didn't think of that as a horror movie back then because
Really?
even then it was more of a fun movie because the Frog Brothers and their jokes
Yeah.
and everything.
Right.
It was even campy then.
Yeah,
I
there
think.
was a
It
lot
was
of camp
definitely
in that.
campy. Yeah.
Mhm. And plus, anything to see Jamie Gertz back in the day.
Thank you. Hello.
Yes.
That's the only reason I went to see Less Than Zero.
But you know the thing about her voice? It's flinty.
It's flinty.
Can't
Oh
swear,
yeah,
swear.
Jerry, it's flinty. I know that voice.
So that's how we've been miserable
Yeah.
since we last
Since
saw
the
the
last
two of them.
time.
How you been miserable?
I don't know.
Speak
We
for
just
yourself.
talked all about 80s movies, which is pretty
That's
cool.
Awesome. I love 80s movies.
I
could
love 80s
live
movies
my whole
too.
life through 80s movies.
Yeah.
I was even saying to her on the way, I said, "Boy, I don't really know that we have anything left to talk about because
Oh,
we
no.
covered so much the last time."
Well,
but-
yeah, we did cover a lot.
We talked about
but,
you
know,
guys the last time. We can talk about
yeah,
anything.
We can talk about whatever. It's behind the funny. That's
But
the great thing.
then we started talking about certain things last night. In an ironic sense, our dog was driving me effing crazy because the dog has OCD like nothing I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
And we have a mouse
A
in the house.
dog
and-
with OCD?
Yes, it's a beagle, and this dog
He's
was
constantly washing his paws. It's ridiculous.
just so.
Walks around the house straightening out paintings.
Yes, he has to wipe
Pictures on the wall.
Has to wipe his butt on the couch at least 7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Licks his left testicle first, then the right one
Then
3
the
times,
right,
and then back to
Then
the left.
twirls around 4 times, then lays down. Yeah. I know the feeling. I do it. I mean, what?
But then she said to me, she said, "You do realize the irony of this situation, which is I have OCD
So bad.
that
Of
drives
course
her
the dog has
absolutely.
OCD.
It's I've probably passed it along."
I was going to say,
Yeah,
you
to the
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Poor dog.
And I never knew how bad it was until I started working with Courtney on the Cat Country Mornings radio show because she is actually a licensed therapist. And now
Is she helping you work through this?
no, she's just enjoying pointing it out and joining forces with this one. They went because they went to the same high school. It's like one of those
Oh,
Rhode
that's
Island
right.
things.
Oh,
And I'm just getting pummeled. So do you want to tell them what some of the things that you do for sport as it pertains to my OCD? Some of the fun that you have around it when you think I don't know.
what do you do?
You're exhausting.
Yeah, but what do you do to him? I want to
So-
know. Do you fuck with the furniture and
I-
move it around?
Something
and-
as simple as like the coasters. So like here's the coaster, and he'll walk by to the kitchen, and you have your way you walk,
yeah,
and then he walks into the kitchen. He's got a way he walks. He does. I can actually.
he
do
looks
it.
like a
He has a
marionette.
certain way he walks, and the beagle has a certain way. I will like tip it or like
Just
It'll
make
be
it a
one
little
coaster
askew.
in one spot and not move that much just to see if I'll
If you'll
notice.
and
And
well,
how many times out of 100 will I notice?
every time. And I love it. It's so much
Oh
fun.
my
Yeah.
god!
He's
It's very easy to torture me that
He's
way.
very OCD with everything that we do. And
I'm
I'm
like
not.
that with
Yeah.
lines if things don't line up
really
with each other. Because I don't know if you noticed before you guys even talked about that, I kept moving this
Oh,
to make
Oh,
sure
you
it
needed to be
lined
under the line?
Yeah.
with this
That's-
because it was bothering me because
Do
it
you
was sitting
know-
like this. So I was lining it up with the line on the table.
I don't think I'm as
Because it was-
bad anymore. But when I was a kid, if I twirled around one way, I had to twirl
Oh,
back
no.
the same way.
Is that why you
Like
did
if-
that at college?
Yes,
Sorry, they went to college together.
because I would think that the timeline would be different. Talk about like there's the snort.
He's in the
There's the
lunch
snort.
line. I'm like, what's he doing?
I would, yeah. If I turned around to go somewhere, I would need to turn back around because I would think that the whole timeline of what's going to happen is going to be different if
We
I
were
don't
like
turn back around.
Christopher Reeve and Superman trying to affect
Yeah.
the
Make
the earth
gravitation,
go back.
Yeah, I was trying to make the-
rotation of the earth. He's doing it angrily. You're doing it with the twirl.
It wasn't like that.
Don't worry, Lois.
Yeah.
I'll save you. Twirl, jazz hands.
No, it was more like
Jazz hands. Is
No.
she alive yet? I'll do it one more time.
I was more like, hey, don't worry, Lois, I'll save you.
How long did
Hey,
you do
what's
this
Peter
twirling thing
twirling
for?
giggity?
When did you stop doing the toilet?
Probably when I was in my teens.
Last week.
No, in my teens.
Episode 104 of Behind the Funny.
Yeah,
my
let's talk about OCD. We've talked about depression and suicide enough. Let's move on to OCD.
Tune in next week. We're going to cover the spectrum.
Let me give you a
Yeah.
great example of OCD. It's like things that will stick with me, and it will change the way that I behave in a certain way for the rest of my life.
Really?
And a very early one I remember was I was living with my parents. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, and I ran out of toilet paper.
Mhm.
And even as a 7 or 8 year old, because I have OCD, I knew I had to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to replace it, and I replaced it with the toilet paper, the edge of it coming down facing me, not facing the wall.
Well, because you're a civilized human being.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
it
why it
goes
always
over the
goes
top.
Over the top.
Right.
not-
So about
Around
20
that.
minutes
It's not
later,
like a lunatic that goes underneath.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get it.
well, there's more to the story.
Okay.
So about 20 minutes later, I hear my father from the shitter screaming like a lunatic. And I said, "What's the problem?" And he said, "That's not how the toilet paper is supposed to go." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "You got to put it on the inside." And I said, "What's the reason?" He didn't know what to say. And he
Right.
said, "Because it makes the room look bigger." And ever since he said that to me,
You put it
for
that
the
way?
rest of my life, even if they put it the other way,
I
making
do
the
put it
room
the
look
other
smaller,
way.
Yes.
I flip it.
You
I
flip it.
I can't deal
Really?
with it. And
Now
it's
see-
this thing that I know is unbelievably stupid, but
Yeah.
it's
You
burned
should
into
have
my
never
brain.
had
So
said
what-
that
but
because
see,
now that I
now
know.
great.
She's gonna mess with you.
Now the
Awesome.
fucking coasters and the toilet paper.
Yeah. Well,
So
listen.
why do you think your father made you feel?
I've got three. Hey, I've got 3 teenagers who wouldn't even think to put it on the fucking roll
Exactly.
anyway. They just throw it on the thing
So you
and
think
lean
my
it
dad
against
would
the
be
wall.
happy, but no.
No, we got to have an intervention with your dad then.
You really
But I even get it now. Even
Yeah.
Courtney will tell you a lot of times we do a lot of production at the radio station.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very crazy about deleting everything when I'm done with it. Like
Yep.
you'll go into my email and everything's gone. Like I
Really?
want it out of there unless I want to hold something over somebody's head in the future.
Right.
But will you create a file or a different folder and put it in that rather than just keep it in your inbox?
There is some of that will go on from time to
Yeah.
time as
Yeah.
well.
Because that's what I do. If I'm keeping it, I create its own folder
Mhm.
and move it to the folder so it's not just sitting in the inbox.
Yeah.
Well,
I
one
do
day
that.
I'm doing production, and when I'm done, I'm deleting some of the MP3s in a folder that we have on the desktop at work. And then Courtney had done some things, and she was done with them. So I'm like, well, I'll delete these while I'm at it.
Yeah.
And she kind of yelled at me, and like,
She was like,
she
"What the fuck are you
really had
doing,
no
you
reason.
maniac?"
She's like, I can take care of it. I think it's her just being more angry about my OCD and knowing that,
Yes,
that
it
she
is.
has to stop it.
Yeah. Right.
But ever since she yelled at me, I
Now you don't?
touch it.
Well, why doesn't that work for me? I yell at you and you don't give a shit.
Because she doesn't fuck with my coasters. All
All
right.
right. There you go.
I'm gonna be fucking with your toilet paper. So be prepared.
She can't wait to go home and flip all the toilet paper over.
No idea. I go for any fun I can get in my life.
Oh my god.
A few weeks ago, someone I work with during the day said, "Hey, can you hand me my phone?" So I picked up their phone, and they got an email while I was handing it to them, and I noticed their email folder. It had like 3,534
Oh, yeah, unread.
unopened
Oh,
emails. I
I got
almost had
that.
to call 911 for myself.
oh my God.
I was like shaking. I started
God.
to sweat. I was like, how do you have that bubble with that big of a number in your email file
Oh
and
my-
still
I could
breathe?
never.
No, I
And
can't
still
do that.
breathe.
Is it like this one?
That would give me anxiety.
Dude, I couldn't handle that.
Got
He's
3,000
3,000.
unopened.
See, that's why mine never get read.
I'm
Now
the
I
same
know.
way. You know, you get notifications at the top of your phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
This drives her crazy because I can't put my phone down. I have to clear them. I
You
can't.
keep getting the
I
notifications.
just hate knowing that there's something there. I'll put a bullseye on myself that you can come after me. with.
You want me to get you a notebook so you could
Thank
take
you.
notes on this
Yeah,
shit?
toilet
She'll just
paper,
You gotta
check.
Yeah.
She'll just listen back to the podcast.
Toilet
later.
paper. What else?
Here are some of the edicts that we have in the Mulhern household. First of all, we're writing our names on all food now because I'm tired of putting stuff in the fridge and the freezer that disappears.
And how many
That's
people live
supposed
in
to
your
be
house?
Three.
There's three
There's
of us.
3 of you.
And you have to write your name
And one
on
of them
it.
I never see because he's in his bedroom all the time.
Yeah, right.
But I also have an edict that started, this is probably going back about 10 years. So I'm very
What time is it?
particular. I'm very particular,
We got plenty of time.
Crap.
but not so much whiskey left.
No,
I
that's
know.
not. That's why we're going to the
Yeah,
wine
so there you
next.
go. So I have this thing about the way that the refrigerator is set up. And one of the things
She's
that would happen,
Seriously, the refrigerator.
and I'm very good about making sure that, when I have leftovers, I take care of them. They don't go bad. I get them out of there as quickly as possible. Well, these two, what they do is they take leftovers and they put them in a container and they put aluminum foil over it. Yes. Well,
Not anymore.
I know.
Let him
that's
finish,
where
or
we're
we're
going.
gonna turn your mic.
Let this breathe.
Turn her mic off. Turn her mic off.
So then
She's
what would
already
also
nodding her head, and she just mouthed asshole.
You don't have to mouth asshole. not on the podcast. You mouth it to me in everyday life. I don't know why you're doing it now.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, because she's at the head of a nonprofit, she's got to be professional.
Oh, shut it.
It's all about appearances. You want to say asshole out loud now?
Yes,
so
I will.
so another thing that I do as an OCD person is, when I have something new that's going in the fridge, I or if I have something older, I don't want to put something new in front of it. So I'll take the older thing and put that in front, because
You rotate your stock.
exactly
You work
like
it
they
out,
will on a
Max, didn't you?
supermarket shelf.
He's using the FIFO method.
Yeah, first in, first out.
Yeah.
There you go. But these two, what they do is they'll take something new and they'll just shove
shove
it
it down.
and then the stuff that has aluminum foil all over it goes to the back of the fridge.
Yeah.
Well, then one day I'll go,
Why does this have hair growing on it?
She looks
That's
so
mold.
uninterested
Yeah, I
right
know.
now.
I
What
really
do
am
you
not.
say?
so one day
At all.
one of my items got pushed back, so I go spelunking for it in the fridge.
What?
And I
Spelunking.
Who says that?
How did you work
Yeah.
a spelunking reference?
Yeah,
in
right.
The leftovers. That is
Yeah,
brilliant.
that's great.
Brilliant.
I get to
He's
the
a
back.
writer.
I get to the back where all of the aluminum foil covered shit is, and I open a couple of them up, and I'll give stalagmites and stalactites of mold. Like
Yeah.
you would not fucking believe. And I eventually just said, you know what? I'm getting tired of this. I'm getting tired of you guys put the foil on it. You can't see what's in there. You push it to the back. Nobody knows it goes in there. It's got mold on it. It's infecting everything else. No more aluminum foil. We have not had aluminum foil in the house for a decade because
Why
of that.
hide it? You don't know where
I don't see anything foiled in the fridge. Well,
No.
maybe you shove it into the back.
She just makes hats
It's
out
like
of
it's
it.
time for me to go spelunking again.
I have my own fridge.
Yeah.
You don't know about.
What do you have? Do you have a
Fridge.
dorm fridge in your closet?
She doesn't-
Like it.
I'll be right
You know
back.
what?
I'm going to look for some shoes. 25 minutes later, she comes out with pizza all over her
Yeah,
face.
eating ice cream.
Yeah.
She doesn't fuck around me on me except when she's here with Ace. So I'll take the fridge that I don't know about. That's
Oh,
fine.
there you go. Oh my God.
So yeah, that's
So-
that's some of the mania and the insanity that I will fully admit it's over the top and I need to work on it. So you're right to mouth asshole every once in a while, not all the time.
Now, you know, what's scary is the comparisons we're having here, because I'm like that. Like if my wife buys ice cream for the house and she brings a new container of ice cream in, and there's one in there that's half eaten, and someone opens the new one before the other one is finished, I lose my mind. Because why would you open the new one?
Because you want a different flavor.
No, you have to finish the old one before it absorbs the
Let me
taste
give you
of
a better
the freezer.
example.
I
Let's
have never
go.
been so happy to be single right now.
I think
I don't have to
Let's
hear
go
any of this
single.
shit. You want to go up to the bedroom, Carla?
That drives
Let
me
me show you around.
crazy.
Let me show you my laundry basket.
It's like, you want to see my secret fridge?
Yeah.
Let's go back to toilet
Say,
paper.
Dame, what do you say we go upstairs?
Tell me if you deal with
There he
this,
goes.
okay?
The Cotton Club.
When the toilet paper.
Oh yeah. I know. We're all
Going
wearing
back to the old.
we're all
episode.
wearing t-shirts and she got gussied up with her. Oh.
Yeah, that's my hell now.
Hold
is
on,
the
I'm having a hot
menopause. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. Does this drive you crazy? Going back to toilet paper. Now,
I wish I had a close up for the camera to be able to just close up on her face. All right. go
as a
ahead.
toilet paper roll is starting to wear down, what I'll usually do is we have this little closet and I'll pull a new roll out and I'll put it somewhere nearby.
As a hint.
As well, just like,
We're
hey,
almost
when,
to the
when this
end.
is done, yeah, let's replace it. I don't know who the asshole is, or should I say, who sees that, there's still about, I don't know, 20 rolls of paper on the toilet paper,
Yeah.
but instead just goes for the new roll instead of taking the old. And don't tell me that's a different flavor. Don't tell me that's a different
No,
ply.
that's
They're all
different.
coming from the same package.
I
No,
agree with you
You
there.
know what? No. this is what happens.
Ooh, she slammed her glass.
This is what
I'm getting
happens.
afraid.
Because I know how you are, and
She's
you're
pointing her finger too.
yeah. Because
She's like the distinguished
OCD
gentleman from Rhode Island is wrong on this one.
He's an OCD freakazoid. So what I do is I know he's going to be flipping out like, oh, we're getting close. Toilet paper's going to end. So what I do is I take the old roll and then I take the new roll and I get it started for you and then do it that way.
I think I can handle starting my own roll.
Well, it's a pain in the ass.
Again.
It breaks off because you don't.
How about instead of
buy
doing
good
that,
stuff.
you get up on the goddamn ladder and pull all the shit out of the gutters?
No,
I'll do that. I don't care.
no. The one I always hated was them leaving the empty cardboard tube.
Yeah.
And not replacing it. That was common. So what I did is I had, as you could tell by these tables, I started building things. So I built a toilet paper tower. So that you hang a roll on the top and then it's stored 3 rolls underneath it on their own little shelves.
You just pull them off.
So you could just take them off and hang them up.
Carla's eyes just lit up.
Okay.
She's like, I want one.
He is Art Vandelay, the architect of the toilet
Exactly.
paper
Yes,
tower.
did you ever see the edition on the Guggenheim?
No, it didn't take that long.
Really didn't take that long.
Imports and exports.
I do a lot more of the exporting than the importing. So, but yeah, I built that. And whenever I walk in the bathroom and I see the new roll hanging and the empty compartments underneath, I have to fill the empty compartments. I go crazy when I walk in the bathroom and I see an almost empty roll on the roll at the top and empty compartments underneath. That drives me insane.
I hear you. We should start.
Welcome to the
common
OCD podcast,
It's
folks.
it's common courtesy.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever you say.
It's common courtesy.
All right. You want to lie anything out there, Carla? Anything you want to cover? You're pretty much done already.
Pretty much.
It's a lot
Come
shorter than the last
on,
one.
you must have more.
With
What
him?
else goes
Well,
on?
But I am also the same guy that cannot find things that are right in front of me
Yeah,
and
I'm
drives
getting bad.
my wife crazy.
Yeah.
Is it one
It's
of the-
right there in the drawer, and I'll be like, I've been through everything. It's not here. And she walks in and without looking, pulls it out and hands it to me.
Yeah.
I will say,
I'm
in support
very-
of what you're saying, how many times a day I hear you say, where did I put my glasses?
There's a new
Where did I put my phone?
They're on her
There's a
head.
new horror movie out in my house. It's called Menopause, and it's awful.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's like I remember it was
I believe it's a trilogy based on where we are
it was like
and the narrative.
It's a limited series.
so I remember going to see at PPAC. I went and saw, I think it's PPAC, Menopause, the musical. And I'm like, oh my God, these poor suckers. And
now
I
you're
have
there.
every single everything. So he's right. Every 5 minutes, like, where the hell are my glasses? So the other day, I couldn't find them. I needed them for work. And I go in the refrigerator, and there they are in the refrigerator. Because
Under some tin foil.
Pushed all the way to the back.
Pushed all the way to the back
in some tin foil.
And she's like, she puts them on. She's like, this was 4 prescriptions ago. That's how long it's been in here. If only we put saran wrap over it and kept it in front.
Well, it goes full circle. So yeah, that's menopause is terrible because he, and I will say, I'm going to give you props right now. So enjoy it.
Because it doesn't happen
it
often.
does not.
Please don't mouth this one. Please say it out
Yeah,
loud.
say it out loud.
So literally, he will say something to me. Most of the time, I do kind of. Oh my god, the toilet paper.
My toilet
It's
paper
the
towel.
Continental Tower, ladies and gentlemen.
He's showing the toilet paper tower,
Well,
folks.
most of the time when he talks, I kind of like zone out or like I sing the Jeopardy theme and things like that because usually I will tell you he'll come down the stairs and I can hear him and I'm like, oh my god, he's going to start complaining. He
I
won't
remember
even
you
say-
saying this last time.
he
It's
won't
like,
even
oh
say,
shit,
"You
like
just
you want to
be
hide under the
quiet.
couch.
You quiet. He won't. He
She muted your mic
Yeah,
for you.
Na, 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 na. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So he will come down the stairs and I can hear him and he's already huffing and puffing. I'm like, what's he going to do? And he's not even in earshot yet. He's like complaining. And I will like go in my head to Aruba or somewhere and be singing,
Find your
the
happy
Jeopardy-
place.
Find my happy place. But I will say, I feel bad in some ways sometimes because he will say something to me and he'll say, oh, I called this one and they said that. And then 2 minutes later, I'll say,
Hey, did you call so and
Yeah.
so?
Exactly.
he's like,
yeah.
Carla, I just told you that. And I'm like, and I know that usually this time it's not me ignoring you. It's
Right.
literally the menopause. It's
Mhm.
terrible.
Or a
So
combination of the two.
it will,
perhaps.
but lately the menopause is pretty bad. It's
She's
pretty
gonna
bad.
milk the menopause until she's 70.
I am. It goes
I'm going
until
through
you're
the
70.
change. It's been 50 years.
It can go 50.
Oh yeah, really?
So, kids, this is what
Okay,
you have to
so
look
you're gonna
forward
grow to
to.
be 100 years old. Okay, whatever you say.
My glasses in the fridge.
And
And-
glasses in the fridge on with tin foil.
Next
over
week on the Menopause Podcast.
them. Yeah, right. I know.
What the hell has happened to us?
Yeah,
Jesus, we used to be entertaining.
I know.
Now it's
And now we're talking.
that's like 4
menopause.
Jews in a deli.
Yeah.
You so the best place, the best place to get a good fish. Where is the best place to get a good cod? That's all I want to know. I'm telling you.
That's bad. I haven't been able to sit on my ass for 20 weeks.
All I want to know is what do you got to take to have a nice movement?
Do you remember soft stools?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I just need a good movement.
And I don't mean Tchaikovsky's fifth movement.
And
I just need one.
I'm not talking Beethoven.
Yeah.
Just a good movement.
Why
Holy
is it
Christ.
whenever you guys are in, it just goes off the rails? And it's so easy. It really is. It's just
it's not
fun.
a long trip at all.
No,
It's
it's
not a long
so
trip at
easy
all.
to go off the
I think
rails.
it's
Look,
the
she's,
peanut butter
now
whiskey.
she's got her coaster, and she's fanning herself with a coaster.
She's over here.
No, I know you guys
Yeah.
have done Mike Murray and his lovely wife before. Do you do many other couples, or is this?
We've had you guys. We've had Mike Murray and Kathy, and
Brian Vincent and Jay Burns.
Brian Vincent and Jay Burns. Yes, yes. No, we had. We've had Al Ducharme and Bernadette
Yes,
Pauly,
that's
who
right.
are comic couple. Tom
Cotter
Cotter and
and
his
Carrie
wife
Louise.
Carrie. But I'm blanking because there is another like local couple that we've had on before, and I cannot think of who the hell it was.
Well, I've had many discussions with people in the comedy world, and this is interesting because
Yeah.
obviously there's examples of all of them. But as far as you guys are concerned, let's just say that you were starting from scratch from a romantic relationship perspective.
Mhm.
Would you want to be in a relationship with somebody who's in the business, somebody who works in the world of comedy, or do you want somebody who has nothing to do with it?
I don't know, because I was with someone who didn't have anything to do with it, and obviously it didn't work out so well. So maybe someone who's in the business would be more understanding of, oh, listen, I'm going to be away this weekend. I've got 3 shows, like this weekend, I don't have my kids. I have 1 show on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday afternoon. So it's going to be a busy weekend, but then I don't have anything for almost a month.
Well,
you
for me,
know?
because the fear always is that I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody who's too much like I am. And I already hate myself. So do I want to bring that component? And especially too, there's a lot of, and I know Scott and I have had many conversations about this, darkness, angst, all of those things. And that's why I always enjoyed having somebody who had that spark. That spark that's being snuffed by menopause, a pandemic, and so many other things.
And OCD.
And the absence of aluminum foil.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking, how is it I'm single and I'm like the most well-adjusted out of all of us, and I'm single, but you two are still with people.
I think maybe Scott can understand this too. And this is what I respect the most about our relationship is over the course of the last, I would say 9 years now, going on a decade, we've been through some real shit together. I mean, real hardcore shit. And I can't imagine what it would have been like going through it with anybody
without
else.
Her. Right.
And especially going through it alone. And since she's proven her stripes to me to that degree, because believe me, I was in a lot of relationships where we weren't going through 1/10 of the shit that this relationship is going through.
And people were not there and bailed.
It was a dumpster fire immediately. So I think that's what it is for me. Would you say it's something similar for you, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been married 31 years.
What?
This past April, yeah.
Really?
31 years. now.
She thinks that's funny.
No, I don't
What?
know.
Someone fucking stuck it out for you for that long?
No, I didn't realize so,
She's
because
like,
that's all.
I'm never making it 31
No.
years.
Yeah.
Trust me,
No.
she's not as surprised as I am.
No, I
She's like, speaking of Castaway, I'll be tying that fucking dummy off the tree,
seem
hanging
very
myself.
young, so that 31 seems a very
I'm
long
53.
time.
I got
Yeah,
married
but
at
that's
22.
yeah, wow. That's
And
impressive.
31 years.
Yeah.
I've been married, and she's not an entertainer at all, which is a good thing. She's obviously a saint because
We
she has
should
no
have-
problem with me.
We should have her on one night.
Oh, I would love that. We go.
I'm gonna
together.
reach out to Lisa and see if she'll come on.
I would have no problem with her coming on. I don't.
No,
think she
let
would
me
do
ask
that.
you a
No.
question. Let's just turn the tables.
How funny is that? That was the name of our episode.
Oh,
When I interviewed him in season 1, it was
nice.
called
Turn the
do
Tables.
you two share the same sense of humor?
Us?
No.
All the
No.
time. No.
No, you
oh,
and
you
your
mean
wife,
him
yeah.
and his wife? I'm not in this.
I'm sorry.
On
I'll bring
some-
you in a minute.
On
Okay.
some things, yes, and some things, no. We enjoy a lot of the same, like TV shows, movies, that type of stuff.
Porn.
She,
She's
Well-
into babysitter porn just like he is.
I like the sugar daddy porn.
Oh, yeah.
She likes the sugar mommy porn.
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
Do they have a porn parody of the Lost Boys?
yes,
If they
do.
don't, they should.
Yes, they do. She's not huge on stand up. Very like she saw Jim Gaffigan with me, loved Gaffigan, but who doesn't?
Right.
She likes Brian Regan.
Yes. Oh,
That-
I love
that-
She
Brian
likes
Regan.
silly. She likes silly comedy.
Stuff like that.
Let me ask you this. Do you like it when she comes to a show? And I'm sure at this point she's all set with coming to shows.
She doesn't come to. She has come to shows when she's bringing other people, and she'll find me funny if her friends find me funny.
But she's going because of some of the other comics on the show, right?
I
So-
know
and
the
I'm not
CAs.
busting balls.
No, he's
No,
100% right.
100%.
100%.
We'll get to that later.
He's 100% right. She has she works with the high school band, and they've done several fundraisers, comedy shows, and she's had me get people, and she will select who she wants me to get, and she never puts me on the list. I'm like,
I haven't been on the list in years either. So
you do realize I'm part of the package.
Right.
I will be on the show with these other people, huh? Whatever.
she's
But
like,
these
that
are the
goes
other
without
ones I
saying.
want.
These are the ones I really want.
She'll come, like the theater shows that I produce. She'll come. She'll be like, "Who's on the next show there?" And I'll tell the 4 people. She'll like, "Yeah, I'm not going to that one." And then she goes, "Who's on the one after that?" I'll say, "Oh, I like her. I'm gonna go see that one."
Well, it's interesting because I think we've discussed this before, but it bears repeating. It did get to a point in our relationship where I had to start begging her not to listen to the radio show,
Right,
because
right.
I just felt like it wasn't doing me any favors, because I'd say something that pissed her off, and then my phone would be going off, and like now I'm out of the moment, and I'm thinking about what am I going to deal with when I get home. And I always thought that was the best way to do it, was to send her elsewhere, until her friends started telling her, "I heard your husband say this," and they'd give their version of it,
Which
which
is
is
out of
always
context.
10
Twice
times
removed. Right,
worse than
right.
what the reality is.
Well, this
No,
past
it wasn't.
year, about 4 or 5 months ago, I got asked. Their hospital in Northeast Connecticut, they were doing a nurses appreciation dinner, and it's the first time they've been able to do it in like 4 years,
Right.
obviously with the pandemic. And I know a lot of people that work at the hospital. They live in my town, friends, neighbors, stuff like that. And they're like, "Would you be willing to come do something that night?" It was a Tuesday night, and they're like, "Listen, we don't really have a budget for entertainment, but last time we did this 4 years ago, we had a guest speaker and it bombed. People actually got up and were like leaving the room, and we thought it'd be fun to add a comedian. One of the doctors is on the board at the theater that I'm part of,
Oh, okay.
so he recommended me, and I'm
And the
like,
guest speaker was Brian Mulhern from Cat Country.
No surprise there. No surprise.
Sorry.
and
Sorry.
no,
Spoiler alert.
I'm like, yeah, I'd be honored to do something for all these nurses that the last couple of years have been through hell with everything that's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And it's a Tuesday night. I'm not losing out on anything.
Right.
And they're like, "Well, you can have dinner, you can hang out with us." And I'm like, what am I going to talk about?
Otherwise, he's home constructing toilet paper towers.
Yes.
I think I can fit this in.
I think I could
Exactly.
squeeze it in. Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, oh, man, what am I going to talk about to nurses? And I'm kind of going through what bits I can do and everything. And my wife is like, what are you going to talk about? And I start naming some of my bits. And she's like, "Well, are you going to do the colonoscopy?" I said, "Yeah, of course I'm going to do that for nurses." And she goes, "What about your vasectomy bit?" And I'm like, "I haven't done that in years. I don't even know if I could remember it." And she goes, "You definitely should do that one for them. They'll totally get that." And I'm like, "All right." And then she starts naming these other bits that she remembers me. She remembered more bits that
Wow.
But
that fit
sometimes you
than I
need that
did.
outside perspective.
And it worked out really, really well that night, because she's not looking at it. I guarantee you she doesn't think any of those bits are funny.
No.
She just knew which ones were perfect
But
subject
by the
matter
same
for that.
token, she cared enough about it.
Oh yeah, no.
to still
She's
have
great
it-
about that
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
She
And-
wanted you to do well.
Mhm.
Side
Yeah.
story. I get there that night at this nurse's show, and they said, "Oh, we got you over at the head table for dinner." They sit me down directly across the table from me is the surgeon that did my vasectomy.
Jerry, I don't want to freak you out, but the pilot.
Yes, exactly. It was.
I am freaking out.
I am like,
I'm freaking out.
I cannot believe this. So I'm like, do I still tell it? Do I not tell it? You know, what do you
I would
do?
have thrown him
And
under
then
the
I'm like,
bus.
fuck it. You're a comedian. You go with what brought you here. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
that's all that it is. So instead of, usually I do that towards the end. I wait right when I got up in the beginning. I'm like, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here tonight. But who's the sick bastard that thought it would be funny to sit me at the table with the surgeon that did my vasectomy? I said, what kind of sick bastard thought that would be funny? Because, all right, you got me. Dr. Baum, maybe you'll recognize me this way. And I went to pull my legs up in the air like this and everything. And,
Did he love it?
And I looked at him and he was laughing.
Oh,
So I
good.
said, okay,
Good.
I'm okay.
That's awesome.
Because he's retired, but he's on the board of the hospital now. So,
After seeing your balls, I'm not surprised you hung
You
up.
didn't retire, yeah, right?
and then I immediately went up and I went, is he laughing? Is Dr. Baum laughing? And everyone shaking their head. I said, not that it matters. You fuckers aren't paying me anyway, so I don't really care.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun. They were a great crowd and everything like that. But to get back to it, you're right. My wife actually took time to sit there and say, you should do this joke. You should do that.
There's something
joke.
inherently sweet about that.
Now
Right.
she won't sit there and watch any of my shows and sit there and like laugh, but she'll sit there and listen to every word and say, why did you say it this way? Why did you do it that way? And
that way practice.
she'll pick pick
yeah.
it apart sometimes, and sometimes I'll get like pissed, and I'm
But
like,
she's right.
but a lot of times she's right. 'cause
9
she
times
knows
out of
me.
10. Yeah.
She
Who knows
knows
you
me.
better than she?
Because
Yeah,
she's an audience member.
Right.
She's looking at it like an audience member.
She's
would.
looking at an audience member who knows me
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and knows
better than anybody in that
stuff,
audience
right.
does, so she can put the two together.
Well, on the flip side, and she just reminded me of this, was, I haven't done a lot of stand up. I've probably done it 3 or 4 times. I just do it for charitable events whenever
Right.
duty calls.
that's
I'm
all
like,
people will stand.
Exactly,
Yeah,
pretty
right,
much.
No one wants
We're
to hear
getting
you
it
more
for
than
free.
that.
We're getting it for free, guys.
Yeah, and I know.
He's on the radio. Just let him bullshit for an hour or so, whatever he's gonna do.
So the first time that I had to do it, I was very self-conscious about it. And I've talked to you guys about the process. And look, I've been up in front of crowds. I've attempted to be funny. I've succeeded sometimes and failed others. So I felt like I had a good foundation and a good base for it. But even still, to me, we've talked about the process, how you guys workshop stuff on stage.
Yeah.
You don't write things down.
Right.
And where I'm the writer, and so I'm writing everything, and then that forces me to memorize everything, and that's the part of it that freaks me out. Even right now, I wrote a play based on the story of my mom and how she passed and what it did to my family and how difficult that was, and I'm being encouraged to play the lead role, and I'm like, my dad's like, you need to do that to honor your mom, and I'm like, ugh. That's pressure, but I'm just so afraid of the memorization and whether or not I'm going to be able to pull it off because of that, because I'm so
Even though you wrote it.
right. So I finally have the act memorized for my first 15 minutes that I'm ever going to do in my life. So I said to her, do you mind if I try this out on you? She's like, yeah, no, absolutely. So
Wait, interjection. It was very late. I was really tired.
Yeah, it was like 8:30.
And
No, it was not. It was like
And menopause was
11:30.
This was perimenopause stage. This is going back always.
I love how
This
I love how she just pulled in a Schoolhouse Rock interjection.
Emotion, excitement.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
To be able to show you how long ago this was.
Oh, we gotta start singing. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill.
This was the inaugural year of Funny for Funds when we did that surprise show for Mike Murray to get him the Coke.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
the cochlear implants.
And Billy came to me and he said, I want you to host it. I'm like, I've never done stand-up. He's like, if I pick another stand-up, everyone's going to be pissed that they didn't get picked. So to just be, he's like, I know you can do it. You'll be fine. So I finally have this thing written. I have it memorized. I walk into the living room. I'm like, do you mind if I try it out? She said, absolutely not. I get about 90 seconds
It was
in.
late.
Absolutely not. Don't do it. Yeah.
And I start seeing like the eyelids at half mast. And I'm like, well, maybe she's got allergies or something in her eye.
Yeah, that's
And then
She took a Claritin.
It was late. I was tired.
about 2.5 minutes in, I had to stray from what I'd memorized to say, are you fucking asleep?
He's trying to do crowd work.
Yeah, right.
The worst part
She's
is,
talking to the dog.
and the worst part is that I knew I was falling asleep, and I'm like, oh my god,
I can't believe I'm doing
I know
this.
my eyes are
I'm
shutting.
so fucking tired.
But this material is just so horrible. I can't help myself.
Meanwhile,
so where you from?
yeah. Meanwhile,
Hey,
the dog's trying to listen, but he's licking his left nut 3 times. Then he's going over to his right. And yeah.
So then she's sound asleep. I'm like, well, it looks like I'm scrapping the aluminum foil bit.
I did
Yeah.
feel that. I did feel that.
Yeah, that's what a boost of confidence that was.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
gonna
feel
be
bad.
great.
He was very upset.
Look at it. She loves it.
Conjunction. Yes.
What's your function?
Oh,
Looking up nouns
and
and
phrases
verbs
and clauses.
But we've said this before. Some of my favorite moments is when, we've all done the roast thing,
Yeah.
Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame and whatnot, and other
Yeah.
charitable things. And when I get to bring her up on stage to just rip me
Rip
a new
into
asshole,
you.
Oh
So
my
much
God.
fun.
Well, especially because what I love is
There's the spark back.
yeah,
Oh my,
yeah.
you're
There's the
not
spot.
kidding. It's a whole
Finally.
big old inferno, people.
But what I
You
love
look
about
like
it is
tinfoil in a spotlight.
yeah. What I love about it is you write the material to shit on yourself,
Exactly.
but she has the biggest
Stage
smile
presence.
because she loves
She
it.
is the Meryl
It's as if
Streep.
she wrote it herself.
Yes.
And it's literally this roster of, people like
Right.
Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And when it's done, everyone's fucking talking about her.
Talking about her
I mean,
because she's not the professional comic and she rips
But
into
nothing
people.
makes me happier than that. I love saying that.
He
Yeah.
writes it. I do a couple little.
She has
Improvs
added.
myself.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
she
Yeah. And
adds
done
to
very,
it.
very, very well.
Yep.
I have to practice the timing because usually it's pretty raunchy, and my parents are usually in the
Oh
audience.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little.
Or her son.
Yeah, they can deal
Yeah,
with
there
it.
was a couple that he had done. Like,
Yeah, I think
don't
Jonathan can handle it
Yeah.
now. He's
Well,
a big boy.
There was
There was
one
I was like,
where
whoa.
people were literally taking photos of Jonathan's reaction, like under the
Oh,
table.
really?
Yeah.
It was horrifying.
It was some.
It was horrifying to say it. I'm like, not even looking at my parents.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm probably grounded.
I'm probably grounded.
The other way.
Ace is going to run into this soon when your kids go to a show.
Oh.
I remember my oldest daughter, 21. She comes and sees me at City Steam in Hartford, and she's sitting at the bar, and the staff there was treating her phenomenally. They were so nice, hey, you need another drink, you just blah blah blah. So I'm up on stage and I'm in my act, and when you're writing, performing on the radio, I'm in my head and I'm doing my thing, and I literally forgot she was there.
Oh,
because I'm I gotta
in the zone.
I gotta do 50
Yeah,
minutes.
you're
I
going
gotta do
for it.
55 minutes. So I'm like going through everything. And there was one joke I didn't want to do because she was there. But I did it
Forgot.
just because it went after this joke. So I just went right into it and I did it. And all of a sudden she is at the bar and she goes, "Whoo, that's my dad." And the whole crowd turns around, looks at her, and I went, "Yeah, that's really my daughter." And it got an even bigger laugh because both of us were saying
Right.
that in the moment and everything. And then I was kind of like, okay, after that. But for that one moment when she yelled that, I was like, oh shit, that's right, she's here. And I felt like this
I know watch
big,
what I say.
and I was like, she kind of made it okay after that to just say
Well, it's
whatever.
amazing how room to room things change. Like Dr. Baum was there for the vasectomy thing.
Yes.
Right,
Your
right.
daughter there for that joke. And on any other night, you wouldn't even bat an eye.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. People say that all the time. It must be easier when there's people in the audience. Honestly, I'd rather have strangers.
I'd rather have strangers too.
I'd rather
Same
have
thing.
strangers.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's
speaking
easier.
of the medical procedure, this just jogged my memory on a story. And we're all of a certain age here where we've all had the colonoscopy. Am I correct?
Yes.
At this point? Okay. So I had my first
I've had
one.
3,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
and I'm still a complete asshole.
Yeah,
So
just one.
That's all good.
So I've only had the one, and I had it a little more than a year ago.
I loved mine.
I try to go weekly. But
She's
my
always
insurance
been one
hooked
for
up.
ass play, ladies and
How's
gentlemen.
that?
Hey,
I'm
ho.
hoping Jonathan
Lucky
has
man.
You never
Right
know.
there.
Well, let's break open that bottle of wine. Hey,
I never.
Ace,
slept
you
so
wanna head
well in my
upstairs?
life.
Here comes the scope, and believe me, you're not going to feel
No,
a thing.
it was
Yeah.
the best
Brian and
sleep.
I are going to be doing this solo in a minute because Ace is headed upstairs.
it's called an Irish colonoscopy.
So, first of all, let me present you with the mixed blessing of doing what I do for a living. So, I walk in for my very first colonoscopy, and she's there, and she's seated across the room, and I walk up, and the woman says hello, and I start to talk. She's like, "You don't have to say anything." And I said, "What?" She goes, "I'm an enormous Cat Country fan." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, no." not here.
Last thing you needed. Last.
So she's going
And then
on
her Facebook post later that day, I was up Brian Mulhern's ass.
She took a selfie while you're out, just you and your asshole and
Yeah. All of a sudden, pictures of your ass are on her fucking Facebook.
Brian's been tagged in a post.
she's getting photobombed by my large intestine.
He got tagged more than once that day.
Peg your bare rear end.
Peg Dan tagged.
So she said, I saw your name on the roster this morning, and then I heard you talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, it's him. Everybody knows. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, great. So much for HIPAA.
I know,
right?
So then I get back there and I'm stripping down and putting the robe on. Like, you got to do me a favor. Joyce doesn't know you're here today. Will you stand behind this curtain and say, here's Luke Bryan, Cat Country 98.1.
Oh my God.
In your half a robe?
Yeah.
That just covers the front?
Exactly. And I'm like, well, if I can go and extract a little bit more from everything that's going on back there, then we'll get to Joyce if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So
can you say, Joyce, this is your life?
So all of this is going on. So now I'm self-conscious enough because right away I'm always thinking HIPAA or not. I don't know how much people adhere to these things, and I don't want to become a story. So I finally get in the back, and they explain to me what's going to happen. And from what I've been told, heading into this thing, the worst part of all of it is the prep.
Yeah,
the procedure itself.
Oh, he's got a whole joke on it.
Not a problem at all.
Exactly.
And to be honest with you, I didn't find the prep to be as bad as I'd expected because people had built it up so much. I was like, well, it wasn't really all that bad.
Right. Yeah.
So then I get in there.
You didn't take the right stuff then.
Well, they said to me, now you're going to be awake for this. And I said, what? Yeah, but you're going to be so out of it that you're not going to realize. I said,
you're not going to remember it.
Because
they give you verse ed.
I said, I thought I was told that I was going to be completely, no, you'll be awake for it.
Partially awake for the insertion, as they say.
So the thing starts and I'm not out of it at all. And they begin to proceed. And under any other circumstance, I probably would have said, hey, I'm feeling everything. I'm completely and totally aware. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, that Brian from Cat Country,
what a
such
pussy.
an unreasonable pussy.
Yeah, right.
Little Miss Prima Donna. So I was awake for my entire colonoscopy. I felt every
100% aware.
100%. And
you remembered it.
I'm so socially awkward. I did not say a word. And they had to cut some stuff out of me.
Right.
They're like blowing air. I'm feeling everything.
Yeah.
And I did not say
That's
a word.
insane. That's insane. You should have said something.
But they knew it was me.
It hurts. Look, how hard is that?
If they thought I was Paul Fuller,
If you want me to play it,
from HJY, I probably would say,
If you ever want me to play another Luke Bryan song, this hurts. Make it not hurt, please.
It was one of the most unbelievably horrible experiences I've ever had.
Really?
No offense to them, but I was too afraid to say anything.
I had 3. Don't remember any of them.
I don't remember any.
I gotta
remember
go
it
where
all.
you're going.
I had 2 hand surgeries, not each hand once, but both hands twice. And the first time,
Carpal tunnel from the toilet paper tower.
Yes.
I wish it was just from the
Yeah, no. Well,
Oh, no,
I don't know if I don't want to go that behind the funny.
They fixed everything when I needed glasses, and then I blasted right through it again.
We heard about that movie you watched. So
Yeah, right. Exactly. My father told me if I didn't stop, I need glasses. He didn't say anything about.
No wonder why
shit.
he needs so much toilet paper.
Yeah.
But when they did the first one, they started to cut before I was fully awake, just no.
Oh my God.
And a hand, and they started to cut before his.
And you can see this.
Oh, and I'm lying there on a table with my arms strapped out to the side like a half of Jesus, and I almost ripped the leather strap up when they started to cut because they hit the nerve, and it is literally one of the most painful things I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
When I went for the second one last year for both hands, whatever they gave me, hallelujah! I remember being wheeled into the room, and I remember waking up at home watching TV in my living room,
and that's the way.
Nothing in between.
And that's the way surgery should be. There is
Exactly.
no surgery where you need to be awake.
Right, exactly.
Well,
I was awake during my vasectomy,
Fantastic.
and they're like, "Oh yeah,
You're not supposed
I'm
to
lit.
leave?
No,
Yes, you are.
You
I'm
are?
just Novocaine.
wide open.
What?
All right,
Just Novocaine.
they hit me with
with
the stuff,
legs wide open.
and then they turn around and
my
they go,
legs wide open with needles in my balls. The
"Don't
scalpel
get him started. He's gonna sing the whole
cutting.
fucking song like Joe Cabral." I'm laying there, I'm wide open, and they go, "Hey, we have a medical assistant student Do you mind if she comes in? Why not? Everyone else is looking at my nuts.
Suddenly,
Yeah.
I can beat that. I can beat that.
Suddenly it's the Seinfeld Juniorman episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I got it from the
It's
machine.
like the observation deck. No, but here's the
Right in the
worst,
sack.
the worst part of it, and why I should have been asleep. Because then they go, okay, we're making the snip, we're making the cut. All right, we're gonna cauterize now. Oh, smoke is coming from between my legs. I'm like, I don't need to see that. I don't need to smell that.
No,
I'm smelling
Only you
cauterization
can prevent
the nut fires.
and that's what.
And
that's
I was
why
shaved, so it wasn't.
That's why I talk about in my joke. I said I don't know if they're operating or welding on a muffler at this point. But I
did not need to be awake for that.
And
That's
this
all I'm
really
saying.
happened during mine. Is they shaved me there. The nurse comes in with a Bic razor and starts shaving me down, and this really happened. As she is shaving my scrotum, she goes, "You know, I looked at the chart beforehand, and I realized we're cousins."
Oh my
well,
God.
this is going
But
to be
they're
some
from
kind
Connecticut, so it's totally okay.
If it was the deep south, it'd be perfectly fine.
Right.
Well,
if it was
Connecticut.
If it was Arkansas, you'd be like, I would have recognized her when I went in for the family reunion.
Well, I will say from being with him as long as I have, he has. I try not. I really
Big
shouldn't
balls.
be sitting this close. To,
They don't need to be shaved that
I
often.
really shouldn't be sitting this close to him. He literally has like this black cloud that just follows him.
It's funny.
No, it's not funny.
We
It's
call it
sad.
the Mulhern luck, and every single time I try to warn somebody who I'm inviting in under this mass and this presence, they're like, "Oh, come on, it can't possibly."
You sound
be."
like fucking Dexter, my dark traveler.
And every single time, by the time they experience it fall on like 4 or 5 times, like this is a real thing. Do not taunt this. Do
Seriously.
not fuck
If you
with
come
this.
to our house, there's like ravens circling around the house.
Ravens.
All right, hey, great having
Never
you guys
ball.
back again. But next
Never
time I
ball.
think
Go-
we're gonna
go-
do this remotely.
Go check one of her recent Instagram
You might-
posts. We were on a hike and
at his house.
there was a turkey vulture circling us.
Circling.
You might have to invite them back in October.
no shit. You guys are gonna be some of the
Part of the
Scottober
horror,
guests.
yeah.
The horror.
He will
fucking-
literally say something like, I can't believe that I have this good luck, or I can't believe this happened, and then 2 seconds later something bad happens. Like, you need to just shut it.
It's like the Jerry Seinfeld Even Steven episode,
Yes.
but in the other
Full
direction,
The
other
where
direction.
things even out in the worst
So-
possible ways.
I have 2 friends. One is up, one is
Exactly.
down.
Yeah.
I'm George. I've become George.
Yeah.
But it's to the point now too. Like when's the last time we went away? 7 years ago? Because every time we try to go
7.
away, something horrific happens. Well, I mean, like for a week. Never mind an overnight. Like I mean,
16, 17.
yeah, 2015, I think it was. I mean,
That's 7 years ago.
It was 16.
Just to do the math.
we were so
That's not tough math.
It's not that
No,
tough
we went,
either.
but we went 16.
we were so afraid.
6 years ago.
Sorry.
Exaggerator.
Sorry. Evidently, you're
Sorry,
a math
Ms.
major.
Arithmetic.
Yeah, I don't remember you being so good at math at fucking CCRI.
Oh,
Not unless it was
Yeah,
playing.
well- You gonna
Gallagher.
let him get away with
you didn't do as well, twirly boy.
No, I didn't.
Twirl to the right.
Hey,
you know,
Spider,
twirl.
you stuttering prick.
No, we had
This
fun.
fucking guy over here.
I did very well at Gallagher. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, that's all we know.
Gallagher.
Gallagher. That's
Great
what we
game.
did.
I
Great
got an
game.
A. I got an A in it. All right, continue on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you got a name, Gallagher.
No, so it got to the point where we became afraid to go away because every time we
'Cause
went
you
away,
really honestly
these
believed.
horrific things would happen,
Yeah.
like the car accidents and it's always like on the first day. So he said, well, if we go for an overnight, maybe it won't be so bad. We hadn't tested the waters in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So she said, let's do an overnight in Mystic, Connecticut. I said, okay, that should be fine. It's not that far away. If we have to come home for any
You
reason,
can.
it'll be fine. We get to the hotel, we check in.
Well, no, there was a restaurant I really wanted you to go to. Had the
Oh,
best
yeah.
lobster rolls.
We had
So
seen it on one
excited.
of those like Food Network shows, and I said,
Mhm.
"This looks like it's one like the only reason we were going," and that was shut down.
The one,
Yeah.
the one
That
in Noank, Connecticut, just bordering Mystic.
Do you know? Remember the name of the place?
Abbott's in the Rough.
Yep.
The best lobster rolls.
Have you been?
World famous.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, so good.
Completely shut down. So
Okay.
like I'm already pissed about that. Then we get to
Well, wait, we pull into the parking lot. It's like Wally World.
Sorry, folks.
Sorry, folks.
No lobster rolls. Moose out front should have told you.
Moose out front should have told you.
Moose says you're closed. I say you're open.
no John Candies to even make any of that possible.
Hey, that's a BB gun. Yeah, it'll break the skin and give you a pretty bad infection.
Shot that lobster. Yeah, it was not pretty.
So now this is where the story is going to take a very dark turn and not be funny, but just to show you the extent of what I'm talking about.
So unlike you.
We finally.
It's the wine.
So even though that's not happening, at least we're please. At least we're getting away from everything for 24 hours. No sooner do we, and then by the way, there was some kind of a construction zone going on, so it took us like 90 minutes to get out of there because we could not figure.
Well, it's Connecticut. Roads in Connecticut have been under construction since the 1940s.
I know a little
Raining,
something about that in the Ocean State these
sprinkling,
days as well.
it's raining.
So we get to the hotel, we check in. No sooner are we unpacking our bags than I get a text from my brother. Mom and Dad have COVID. That was literally
no
Are you
shit.
kidding? The last
Day.
time.
No
the
shit.
day they're being rushed to the hospital.
Oh my God.
And let's just say we're going to spend the next day right back. Right. And that's the level of Muller and luck crap that happened. We tried to go away for an overnight in Boston a couple of months ago. My brother calls me on the Friday night, just one night we were going, Dad's bleeding from his ass. They just rushed to the hospital.
Oh my God.
So I said, I'm like,
So they're like,
can't go.
No more vacations. We're going to Ace's basement, if anywhere. This is your vacation.
Wait a minute, my phone just went off.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm bleeding from my ass.
You're bleeding from your ass.
That's not your phone.
Right.
It's the assment.
Oh my God.
It's the funniest behind.
Yeah.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Oh God.
Well, this went well.
You're in the laundry room
Yeah.
of the Shawshank Redemption.
How is it we just kind of started talking and it's an hour and a half later?
Is
Is
it
it
really
really
already
an hour and a half?
90 minutes later?
Oh my
90
God, I'm
minutes.
So sorry.
Holy shit.
No, don't be sorry. This is great content. Are you kidding?
This is another full best of.
This is a full best of. This will be, we're going to have like 4 best ofs at the end of the year. And one of them is just going to be like, you know what? We couldn't even cut anything out.
Mulherns.
It's the Mulherns.
Revisited.
Revisited. Exactly.
I'm a little disappointed.
We should come up with a best of the Mulherns and just do like clips from all of the times that they've appeared.
All it would be is me going,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
You know what we should do though?
I did snore a
We've
lot.
had
Us-
Brian on alone. We've had Brian on with Carla twice. We should have Carla on
Yes.
one
Oh.
time.
Oh, that was so
Ooh.
awesome. I would not have to listen to him. I could say whatever the hell I wanted.
a menage a pod.
That would be
Look at her.
wonderful.
Look, she's getting excited.
I'll let you do it,
You'll let me?
but hang on,
You?
hang on.
Ooh, menopause girl is coming out. Get ready. Hormones.
I'm using my aluminum foil then. But under one condition, we gate off his bedroom. I don't want you up there with me not here.
So you're gonna put up a dog gate?
What are you
That'll work.
What are you afraid of 90 seconds for? You said it last time.
I said last time.
Hey.
I knew it was trouble because it was 90 seconds because it was 15 minutes, but there's no fucking way he could hold out that long.
Carla, I got a Lost Boys poster over my bed.
Say hello to the night, lost
You-
in the
you had me sold if you had a weird
She'll get,
science
she'll get
poster.
home. My first question will be,
Oh,
how did it go shaving Ace's balls?
oh my God.
I only had the plot. Done.
Would you say weird science?
Weird science.
She kicked me in my family jewels. Shaving his junk is the new version of 50 Shades of Grey.
That's right. 50 Shades of Gray. Hey, I'm here all week. Trying to be.
you. I'll tell you. Hey, whoa. This guy with his gray pubic hair.
Hey.
Well, whether it's hanging out with you guys behind microphones or whether we do so in our personal lives, which the 4 of us do get together from time to time.
Yes, not just here.
And it's always a lot of fun.
Yes.
And we thank you for having us. And I want to congratulate you guys too, because you have really built something with this podcast.
Thanks.
I
Thank
dabble in the broadcasting world and in the podcast world, and I know how unbelievably difficult it is to build something like this. But you
Yeah.
guys are killing it. With this
Thank
thing.
you.
We,
We really appreciate it, especially coming from someone who's a
Right,
professional
right.
broadcaster. It's, we just kind of started doing this, and I have to think, like Howard Stern always says, that 10,000 hours thing. And we haven't gotten to 10,000, but I definitely think we've grown as interviewers, as
Oh, absolutely.
people who talk to people. we've gotten feedback from a lot of our guests that, hey, you know what, this was fun. I didn't know what we were going to talk about, and an hour went by like that. And so coming from someone who is as established in the broadcasting world, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass because I know there's not enough room up there, but seriously, coming from someone who knows broadcasting, that makes us feel good.
Well, one thing that I try to tell younger people who get into this, you know, and granted, I'm guilty of it to a degree. You want to prepare. You don't want to over prepare. Right. And it's not like you guys are walking in here with copious notes. And I say this a lot of times to people, have a conversation. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not to say don't have a game plan.
Right.
Just have a conversation. And when you're having a conversation and as you get good at it, as you guys have, and you know, you're very likable, you're not confrontational and all of those things. Like you just said, that 90 minutes passes by in what feels like that.
Yeah. Right. And and that's the thing. We've, you know, yes. Do we have certain questions we ask people? If the conversation kind of lulls, but ultimately, if the guests are having a good time and they're sharing information, we don't have to ask, where'd you grow up? What'd you do? But if it does kind of lull, hey, how many siblings do you have? You know, what made you get into comedy that first time?
We,
you know,
we have things we're going to ask that'll direct the conversation, but 99 times out of 100, the conversation takes on a life of its own.
Exactly.
And we don't have to. And that's one thing about people that are in, you know, comedy performers, writers, people like that. They're good at stories.
We're storytellers.
Oh, yeah. You've got people also who, too, are comfortable behind a microphone.
Exactly.
And the other thing that's really brilliant about this podcast is you bring in people who have a following. So automatically you're getting that following, checking this thing out. And then that following sees a good episode and says, wow, this person's coming up the next time. I got to check that one out. And then
that's our goal. Because, again, people hear you on the radio, but and they hear maybe Carla call in once or twice a year. They don't get to really hear an hour of Carla shitting on you, you know, or you guys sharing more stories than what you're able to share. Because again, you're limited on the radio. You got to play, you got to get to the next song. So you have a 2-minute clip or you have a 3-minute, you know.
And there's certain roads that I just can't go down.
Right.
Because it's a family in the car.
By the way, Carla, we need a guest next week and you can leave Brian at home.
That's
so
perfect.
Yeah. We can have it come on.
It's even at the point now where I will not, he'll say, how was your day? Or I'll say to him, please don't talk about this. And
then the next day
he does, so I don't tell him anything anymore.
You shouldn't.
How was your day? Great.
Because we can't help it. If you give us gold, we're going to use it.
Did you get this when you got married? Something would happen and you're probably still getting it. That's not for your act.
Right. Yep.
And how much do you adhere to
I used to never. I guarantee my ex-wife hated the fact that, so we were 9 years apart. And I used to do a joke, and I used to do this joke, and I'd be like, you know what? I found the key to happiness. Guys, find a younger girl. Don't moan. Find a younger girl. Best thing about finding a younger woman, no baggage. Well, maybe one. It was a Hello Kitty knapsack that she wore to the bus stop. But, and then people would groan and I'd be like, oh, stop it. I paid my dues. 4 long years I was the ice cream man in front of that school. She fucking hated that joke, but it killed every time. So what am I going to do? I'm going to deal with the consequences when I get home, but I would do the joke every time because it worked.
I've only had one joke in 20 years. My wife said to me, I really don't like that joke.
Yeah.
I think it makes me look bad, she said. And I wasn't looking at it from her perspective. And it only came one time she was at a show. I did the joke and she actually got up and walked out because she was embarrassed.
Oh.
And
you son of a bitch.
And I really tried to look at it from her point of view. And the sad part was it was a great joke.
So now you only do it when she's not there.
That's right.
No, and
that's why he's thankful she doesn't come to shows anymore.
And she flat out said to me, she goes, I'm not going to tell you what to do or not to do. I'm just going to tell you how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
And that embarrassed me.
That's a credit to her.
And made me feel bad. So that's why I couldn't stay
and also,
in the room after that. She goes
passive aggressive in such a beautiful way.
Yes. she said she felt like everyone in the room was looking.
Hate you.
She said she felt like everyone in the room was looking at her after I told that joke. Yeah. And I did the next time I performed tell that joke when she wasn't there, and all I could think of was her saying that.
Of course,
yeah.
So
and then it messed with your head.
It messed.
You
with my
didn't
head,
even have fun doing it.
I never could do that joke.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, there is one thing that she told me. I am begging you not to tell the story on the air, and I never did. And maybe you could tell it when you come on Behind the Funny by yourself. What do you think about that?
I was just going to say, what is it? Tell us now.
It involved you going to meet somebody, and there was some confusion. Do you remember that?
Oh, Jesus. That just shows I'm an idiot.
That's probably why she didn't want me telling it. Yeah.
I was so embarrassed.
That was probably the beginning of menopause.
Yeah.
That was probably.
She's like, not only did she forget her glasses.
Now. It was, but you can't say who it was, but it was very embarrassing.
It's not as funny if I don't say who it was because it's somebody who's kind of known. So I'll leave that for your podcast. That's what we call in the business of radio tease.
That's
So folks, tune in when you see upcoming episodes with Carla Mulher and minus Brian.
Yes.
Then you'll know to tune in to hear that story.
Definitely.
Speaking of upcoming episodes, I don't know who's firmed up and who's not. I see the whiteboard.
Oh,
here with
yeah,
some
we've
very
got
interesting names.
It's we've got some people that we've been working on. We've got prospective guests. We've got some people I've reached out to who said, not right now, but reach out to me again. And then we've got that's not even full. I have more guests than what's on there,
Can I
but
go add my name?
you can put your name on for next week if you want.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
See any of those dates that don't have anything written next to them?
Yeah, you just throw your name up there.
Right.
You throw your name up there.
I also want to add something too because I did get to catch the Carolyn Fox episode. I was so glad that you guys.
I wanted to
finally got
talk to
Carolyn.
you about that. Yeah.
And I just want to say, because she threw me some love, and I, you guys mentioned at the time, I owe so much of what I've done to that lady, and she meant so much to me, and I thought that was a fascinating.
It was,
and I hope if you can get her and Rudy, I'd love to come.
I would love to do that.
We want to
Rudy
put that
Cheeks.
together.
We want to put them back together. The tough thing with Carolyn was that night that she was doing it. First of all, it was like nailing Jello to a tree, as he says.
God.
It was so difficult to nail her down.
To get her
months. Because she'd be like, yeah, sounds great. I'll come on. And then I'm like, okay, can you look at the dates I sent and tell me one of them so that I can write it down? And then
I worked with her. You don't have to.
Yeah.
explain.
And then it turned out that the date she gave us, she told me, how long is it? And I'm like, well, usually an hour. She goes, well, listen, I got a dinner meeting. I forgot. I got to go this. I could give you this much time. And then once we got her on, we couldn't get her off. We're like, Carolyn, you got a fucking dinner meeting. Like, you got to get going.
She told us she had 35 minutes and she kept going.
45 minutes she was on.
There's nobody who loves
amazing.
a microphone more than
you
she
can
was
tell
great.
she misses the mic.
Oh, she totally does.
You can
But the
tell.
amazing thing is, even though she's not doing it anymore, it doesn't matter what she does. She
She's
can't
still her.
not be successful.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Even
right.
in the real estate world now, all
Yes.
the Barbara Corcoran stuff,
Yep.
good
Yep.
for her. And
Yeah.
it shows you the kind of person she is. And I mean, she started many a career in radio. And I did want to acknowledge, I love you, Carolyn. And
We love you,
and
Carolyn.
Thanks for my life. Seriously.
Yeah.
She was great.
She was.
And Rudy, by the way. Rudy,
I want to get
enormous. Yeah.
get Rudy on.
Rudy was enormous in helping my career.
I want to get her on and then bring Rudy on to kind of reunite them, because how awesome would it be to have Carolyn Fox
And
Rudy
Rudy's in.
Cheeks on.
Rudy's all in on it.
Oh yeah, I think he would be. I've
totally-
reached out to.
Mhm.
I've kind of talked to him, so because he was commenting that night. He was like, class A person. Like he loves Carolyn, so definitely we'll work on getting them on together. So
Awesome.
Listen, man, thank you guys,
Thanks, guys.
so much.
Always
for coming
a
on.
pleasure. For me anyway. I can't really sleep.
Yeah.
We'll see.
She's like, the whiskey was fine.
She's hot. She's ready to go skinny dipping in the pool tonight.
She's gonna say, I had a horrible time, but that's not for the radio.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Until next week when he goes back on the radio and goes, I did a podcast while I was off and my wife hates me again.
If you want to see Carla miserable,
Yeah, check out Behind the Funny, episode 228.
Come to our house.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
watch our ring camera.
ring cam, yeah.
Yeah, right.
See how miserable.
No shit. Watch
One more for the road.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
Watch Brian fall off the roof.
We're gonna call this.
push him.
We're gonna
Did
call
he
this.
fall? Was he pushed? Yeah.
We're gonna call this episode "Meet the Mulherns."
Yeah. Meet the snorts.
All right. Hey, we got a bottle of wine to finish. Let's wrap
That's
this
right.
up.
All right, let's wrap this up. Hey, folks, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Please, again, 5-star written review. He's kissing up to her over here. 5-star written review.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend, and patreon.com/behind the funny. one simple giving level. It's $5 a month, and you're going to get extra content as well as either a t-shirt or a coffee mug, whichever one you want.
And some of our favorite all-time episodes are already up there.
Yeah.
And don't forget to check out the mixtape podcast.
Yes, check
Friends
those
of ours
guys
have a
out.
great podcast, so check them out.
Other than that, we will see you
Next week.